A very good afternoon to you all from Bramall Lane here in Sheffield. It's the magic of the FA Cup for you today on ESPN. Sheffield United against Aston Villa in the third round. Adrian Healy and Seamus Mallon with you. And Seamus, the third round is where the magic begins in this old and prestigious tournament.
Absolutely. And speaking of prestige, these are two sides who've had great histories going back, in fact, 2 centuries. But take a look at some of the big matchups today. Yetting, of course, against Newcastle, the real eye-catcher.
Indeed, Plymouth against Everton, Spurs against Brighton, and look at that, Manchester United against Exeter City. It's really the round where the leading clubs are joined by the minnows, the also-rans, and the fallen giants of the lower leagues, and it's obviously a round where upsets can often happen.
That's right, and it's actually where all the fans of the game look for these upsets and hope that they will come. And it's also a time for some money spinning from some clubs who otherwise are very close to the edge financially.
One of the most attractive ties of the round coming up for you today. Sheffield United against Aston Villa. We'll have the lineups and the kickoff coming your way after these words. It's the FA Cup on ESPN. Great. As you see the Sheffield United lineup, this is pretty much the formation they'll be playing. That back four, Geary, Coolip, Bromby and Wright. And that'll be the back four. They'll be trying to extend the misery, really, for Villa. You mentioned their lack of scoring recently, Seamus.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a strong back four, obviously, and they will play with one player up front, Andy Gray, son of Frank Gray, the former Leeds United great. But they've got some good players on the flanks, Tongue and Little in particular, likely to provide, and of course, John Harley with great experience at Chelsea. Villa, however, got lots of international flavor here, too.
They have indeed, and they welcome back Olaf Melberg, who's missed the last couple of games. He's an inspirational figure for them at the back, really.
He really is. He's the leader very much in his style of play and in his passion for the game. But it's a strong back four there, too. J. Lloyd Samuel back in after some injury problems, and Barry in front of him, likewise strong. Nobby Solano, the only bright lights, really, over the Christmas break, scoring the 1 goal, a header in the 88th minute. And if you have to rely on Nobby Solano to get you headed goals, you know things are tough.
It certainly has been a frustrating period for David O'Leary.
Like the others, he too has gone off the boil in the scoring department, but he's also a player who can do some surprising, innovative things in the middle of the park.
Well, certainly Villa have had their fair share of injuries this season, but it has been mystifying their drop-off in production. They had some fabulous results earlier in the season, beating Newcastle 4-2. That was one that stood out. They drew with Chelsea and Liverpool. It's been a barren run recently. And Sheffield United looking to make matters worse. A shot, though, high and wide as the rain starts to fall.
Well, they've got a lot of confidence, this team, Sheffield United, playing so well. They've also had rather good runs in the last few years in knockout competitions. What, quarterfinal last year and the year before, semi-finals in both League Cup and FA Cup. Under this man, Neil Warnock.
Gareth Barry. And Kevin McCann for Villa. Barry once more as the Premier League team all under possession nicely. Of course, as soon as they say that, J. Lloyd Samuel balloons his cross into the stand behind the goal.
That was enterprising play, though, wasn't it, with Gary threading that ball very nicely down the touchline for the overlap from J. Lloyd Samuel, who, as we mentioned, is just back, getting himself back into 100% fitness after some injury struggles, too. One call-up for England, but much is expected of him. And that was not a good cross, given how much they had done to get to that position.
Yeah, you mentioned Sheffield United's record in the FA Cup. It is one of the best for a team outside of the top flight here in England. They've actually reached 2 semi-finals and 1 quarter-final in the last 8 years. Villa, for their part, haven't got past the third round in the last 3 years. They're trying to head in the right direction. But Delaney is brought down, or is he?
Not, apparently not. Assistant referee was out there, didn't give it. Delaney skips away here, and then he may stumble. I think he does actually stumble in the end. He's done a very good job getting around the back, though. That was an impressive flick on. Is there contact here? Yeah, difficult to tell. I thought not. It looked like he landed heavily.
Delaney, one of the longest-serving Villa players.
Yeah, and he's a fixture for the Wales national side as well.
Forward come the visitors again. It's a rasping drive, but it was rising all the way and over the top of Paddy Kenny's goal.
Well, Gareth Barry will feel free to take that left-footed shot. He's using the other players as decoys. You can see a nice run there from Carlton Cole helping him out, causing a bit of consternation for Culip and Bromby at the back, center of the back four.
Paddy Kenny, the Irish goalkeeper, in his third season at Bramall Lane. The goal kick, free kick going the way of the home team too.
Very much a team from the British Isles and Ireland here, this Sheffield side. Irish, Scots and English. Different situation for the Premiership side.
Rifled across the edge of the area and held up invitingly. A shot whistling wide at the far post. It was a promising build-up for Sheffield United.
It was beautifully left too. That's a very good volley, but look at this leave here. Lackadaisical closing down as well as the shot came in. Plenty of time for the player to come on and let it go.
It's Jagielka who was close and who's ever present in this Sheffield United team this season.
Yeah, he's a versatile player too. Can give you a central back four role if you need it, but more useful as a filling in the gap there in the hole in front of the back four.
Carlton Cole trying to bring Robbie Solano into the build-up. He hasn't seen an awful lot of it so far. Delaney up against his old teammate Alan Wright. Kept it in, but in the process just handed it back to Wright. Good close control from the man who signed here in October of 2003. That's the bench for Sheffield United.
Danny Kadamadari, a player that looked like he was really going to be a superstar in the early days at Everton. It hasn't quite worked out that way. Crowd a little unhappy here initially because they thought the ball was not going to be returned to Sheffield United after they had put it into touch for a treatment of an injury to a Villa player, but that was not how it turned out. Look at the Villa.
It's again Sheffield United making a mess of a clearance, handing it straight to Villa. It was beyond the tall Carlton Cole. And really Sheffield United making trouble for themselves here.
Well, Gareth Barry's in a great position here. He just gets under this ball. It comes off the turf a little bit, but look how open Carlton Cole was. And the 5-foot
thrown on the near side for the much-travelled John Harley to take, the ex-Chelsea man. Quinn's run was halted, but it still falls the way of the home team until Ridgewell stepped in with great authority. Villa having to hold up the counter-attack, waiting for support to arrive. Angel. Here he is again. Hit his own player with the through ball. Villa still have it though, working the ball nicely. And this is Delaney on the overlap. Mark Delaney, just a heavy touch as he got into the penalty area. It allowed Geary to slide in with the intercepting tackle.
Well, it was a lovely piece of football though by Villa in the build-up. Good possession all across the park. And then a very nice ball at the end right here. Here's the cut. That's a super low ball, put it in around the back. There's the heavy touch with the right foot. He almost stumbled into it. And he had great support in Cole and Angel inside. The left foot reaches out, but it was a very good challenge by Geary, and he's paid a bit of a price too for that brave challenge.
Piece so far. Andy Gray. Little lacrosse near post. The layoff from Tongue didn't quite work, but Sheffield United still have it in a promising position into the area with Tongue once again. Again, the near post cross met by the first defender.
Oh, terrible clearing twice in a row by J. Lloyd Samuel. I must say he is singularly unimpressive in this first 24 minutes for Villa.
Who look just a little rattled at the moment by this spell of Sheffield United pressure. Oh, and Sorensen was dipping in and he couldn't take any chances. The header from Jagielka tipped over the top.
Good direct football from Sheffield United, but accurate stuff too, not just hoisted with a hope, but a good driving cross in there that put a lot of pressure on Melberg, trying to take care of Jagielka, or Jags as they call him.
Free kick again, worked short. And eventually Villa happy just to bring it out of their own area and relieve some of this Sheffield United pressure, but for how long? Intelligent ball into the centre of the field. And then squared into an inviting position, but Andy Gray couldn't latch on to it. It's the best we've seen from the home team, though.
Yeah, it is. Here's the cross that came in that was tipped over the crossbar. I always thought for a minute that Melberg did get to it, not Jags, but...
dominating the first 20 minutes or so, but home team have come back at them over the last 10.
Yeah, they have, haven't they? And they've come back at them with good football. I mean, this is a good side, and they're playing good passing, and that was a lovely little springing loose of Little a few moments ago. Very enterprising and innovative.
Free kick is hung in there again. The aerial battle is won by a Sheffield United player. The result was a corner kick, much to Delaney's frustration.
Well, I think he felt he was bowled over into the ball. Even if it did go off him, he felt he was fouled. Now, this is, of course, where a controversy always arises in a cup tie. Can this be a controversial decision that results in a break in the match here?
And they work the short corner, Little, and the header! What a save from Sorensen! He looks already in an unbeatable form today, and Jagielka has found out twice.
Well, Jagielka really does a great job here, and this would indeed have been a controversy, giving this corner.
Still, the danger is there for Sheffield United. Sorensen's palm away. Villa momentarily at 6s and 7s. Still the shot comes in. And once again, Sorensen is equal to it.
Well, this is the corner kick originally. This is the Jagielka header. You see how easily he got away from his marker, McCann, and that's simply not good enough for Villa. Handball on Hell. Marking is not as competitive at the back for the Villa, and you've got to be impressed by the set-piece play and the good quality crosses that Sheffield United are throwing in there, Adrian. This is where it breaks down for them sometimes. They're a little bit sloppy on the ball in their back third and through the midfield.
Well, Andy Gray, playing as that lone front man, has enjoyed a lot of support with defenders and midfielders arriving from the back. It's obviously Neil Warnock's game plan. It's a system they played to great effect at Upton Park on Monday. This is Quinn. Promising once more, and again Sorensen bails out Aston Villa.
That's great play from Sheffield United, but really terrible tackling. What is McCann doing here? Two players allowing them to make the cross, and I don't know how Sorensen saw that late. It came through a player's legs, and he just reaches down the right hand, because that could very easily have scooted under him.
Villa now kicking from right to left, wearing their famous old claret and blue. And Juan Pablo Angel trying to set up an early attack. Nobby Solano was on the end of the build-up. Couldn't direct his shot on target, however.
Angel getting wide here and playing the ball in to Barry, of all people.
Gareth Barry continues to be somewhat ignored by Sven-Göran Eriksson in terms of the full England setup, but for how long, you have to wonder.
Well, they don't lose much in bringing on Montgomery. Oh, it's a good chance here.
And he takes full advantage. Gareth Barry. What a shot from the youngster. And right at the start of the second half, Villa have the lead.
Well, this is astonishing. Gareth Barry playing left-sided midfield. Drifts into a central position twice in the first minutes of this half. And Hell goes wide. It's beautifully flicked in there by Hendry. And then a very fine finish over the keeper. Terrific drive, but a bad giveaway. Hendry just stabs it through. It's the only really good pass Hendry's had in 46 minutes. But how telling it was. And over the keeper into the roof of the net. Gareth Barry with the right foot, his less favoured foot. And Villa, you'd have to say, against the run of play, are up 1-0.
Gareth Barry stepping up in the absence of any real confidence or form from his strikers in front of him. Carlton Cole and Juan Pablo Angel have been very quiet and subdued, but Barry showing a superlative finish from the edge of the area. Certainly showed that sort of form last year, perhaps not as much this year. Angel chasing a lost cause. Paddy Kenny with the clearance.
Much more pressure being put on by Villa now in this second half. Trying to make Sheffield United work for a bit. They work well here, but this in the end should be easily gathered up by Sorensen. But Sheffield United definitely off the boil now. This goal has knocked some of the stuffing out of them. And Villa has taken the opportunity to add pressure. But they really, you have the feeling, need an insurance goal, given some of their difficulties at the back, and relying on Sorensen to bail them out.
Well, are we seeing a mirror image of the first half, where Villa really started brightly, had Sheffield United on the back foot until the home team took over? Of course, the main difference was they didn't score during that period of dominance. They have done in the second half, which completely changes the dynamic. And your question marks over the Villa midfield, Seamus, involving their defensive capabilities. Well, Gavin McCann now off. Can Sheffield United exploit his absence? Lee Bromby forward to take a long throw, it appears, although he opts to go the shorter route. Little working hard and wins a corner. First of the second half. Well, they look to work it short again, as they did on almost every occasion in the first half. It's near post and the equaliser. Well, if the Villa goal arrived out of the blue, so too did the equaliser, but you can't say Villa weren't warned. From the set piece, it was worked short again, and Danny Cullen was on the end. I'm not sure how much he knew about it.
I don't think at all. It was a poor clearance that was played right into him. But they've had warnings about this. This is the clearance there. Oh. In fact, maybe it wasn't a clearance. In fact, now we get a closer look at it. There might not have been a Villa touch in there. But the question that Sorensen is raising is the right one. How can somebody be that unmarked? But they have been threatening, United have, with these wonderful corners in each half. And Villa have looked troubled by them. Every time they went near post or got that ball, the second touch has been a threat.
Yeah, Kulip just stuck out a leg, didn't he? But it was enough to guide it.
And ball that will go into him.
I've seen very little of the ball. Angel and Cole. The run from Gray is halted, or rather John Harley. Farley, who didn't quite make the grade at Chelsea.
Solano will feel that he got the ball here, but he didn't. He got all of Harley. No, didn't quite make the grade at Chelsea, and as you mentioned, Wimbledon and Fulham, looked like he said, well, you can transfer me, but it's got to be on the district line. I mean, he's going around on the tube in London.
Eventually he found the Bramall Lane stop.
That's right.
He's standing over this free kick, as is Liddell. Anxious moments for Thomas Sorensen here. It was from a corner kick that Sheffield United equalised. What can they do from a free kick? Ali leaves it. The shot arrives, but again, right at Sorensen. Andy Liddell sees his team win possession back. Good play from Tong. A little appealing for the corner kick.
Well, the question is there a foul? No foul, but I think he did make a touch on the ball there.
Certainly seemed to be that way. Another change for the visitors. Nobby Solano has had a quiet afternoon. The Peruvian makes way for the young man from Northern Ireland, Stephen Davis. He only turned 20 on New Year's Day. Product of the Villa youth system. But his emergence has been a real bonus for
really
David O'Leary.
And he was indeed the bright light during the holidays. He was the player of the match in the losing cause at Crystal Palace. But they need something to energize them going forward, and Solano has been strangely ineffective. It's as though, almost as though he didn't have much of an appetite for this game. It is a real rousing cup tie.
Liddell winning a free kick as Davis gets involved immediately. Very important stage of the game, you feel. David O'Leary and Neil Warnock seeing their teams free kick arriving. Went beyond Jagielska, but sent back in. Under away from Melberg. Once more, though, Sheffield United continuing to ask questions, and that's a good cross. Just eluded the centre forwards, and Thomas Sorensen happy to see it in the end.
Well, very good play by Sheffield United. Really, they've been threatening with some terrific, dangerous balls into the box, primarily from good wide positions. Villa, with an intense defensive display in the first part of this half, which eventually worked to yield them a goal, have really dropped back into their old bad habits here.
It's an enterprising run forwards and a good cut back. Liddell was waiting, but so was J. Lloyd Samuel. His clearance was an important one. And now can Villa turn defence into attack here? Davis to Angel, back to Davis. Forward to Barry, who's at times been operating as a centre forward in the second half. Little leaves it for Montgomery. It's a decent delivery. Hendry lucky to get away with that touch, but Angel has it now. Hendry trying to force it through for Davis as Villa look to spring a counter-attack. Angel is the target. Hendry! Well, a rising drive. We've seen him score from that sort of range this season on more than one occasion.
Wow, this is a great ball from Gareth Barry, laid off beautifully by Angel. And Hendry really saw plenty of the goal here. Yes, there are players collapsing on him, But as you said, Adrian, he has buried that kind of opportunity. Story of the Villa this season, this part of the season, anyhow. Good attacking play, enterprising opportunities, but falling apart inside the penalty area.
It's certainly the Premiership team who appear to be finishing the stronger here. Lee Hendry sees his shot charged down as far as Barry. He didn't quite connect with it with full velocity. As a result, Paddy Kenny was able to smother it comfortably.
Well, Hendry showing more and more leadership here as he tries to pick out Barry. Barry really in a good spot to get a right-footed shot off. As we said, his favourite foot very definitely the left, although he scored that crashing volley with the right foot. But you have to commend Barry for continuing to get into good positions. Villa travellers here in good song, sensing that Villa might be able to sneak one in the last 10 minutes here, with Sheffield United retreating somewhat. Well, had given all the chances that United missed in the first half. David O'Leary might feel happy to take a draw away and go and take a replay at Villa Park.
The replay would be in 10 days' time, if it were to be the case. Be enough to ensure both teams would go into the hat for the fourth round draw on Monday. That's the prize at stake here. At the moment, it's a prize that Villa are looking like, or more likely, to capture. Burson. Hendry back to Burson. And straight down the middle. And it finds Barry. That was charged down with the hand, was it?
Oh, yeah, that was a handball. Absolute handball. It was outside the area, but the hands went up towards the ball and clearly blocked it away. Can't see how you could say that wasn't a handball.
Well, this might bounce fortuitously for Sheffield United. Right out of the blue, Andy Liddell gives Villa the blues. The Scot strikes for Neil Warnock and company, and do we have a shock on our hands? Championship Sheffield United leads Premiership Aston Villa by 2-1.
Definitely onside, no question about that. There's a good flick on. Oh, but he's offside there, surely. Oh, my goodness. Oh. Here's the flick on, or was it off the defender? I couldn't quite tell. It was off the defender. Then the initial pass, he was onside. If it was off the attacker, then he was way offside. And as I said, up the park, as David O'Leary will point out, there was a handball not given.
Well, on such small margins do FA Cup ties turn as Villa. Well, they're not out of the hunt yet by any means, but that's a shocking turn of events for them, having dominated the previous 15-20 minutes or so. Andy Liddell, who played just down the road from here for Barnsley for so many years. He played in Barnsley's one season in the Premier League, in fact. And now look at this, Sheffield United in full flow. It's Liddell again. Shot took a deflection and in! Would you believe it? Two goals in 2 minutes for Andy Liddell has turned this FA Cup tie upside down. Neil Warnock knowing they're a little over 5 minutes away from pulling off the upset win. And this crowd are in ecstasy. Thomas Sorensen beaten by a deflection.
Well, this is why they play the games. There, as you see, Ridgewell tried to commit the foul. It didn't do it. But Liddell has a lot to do here. The shot comes through. And there was a bit of deflection, but I don't know that it was really all that much. It was Sorensen really let this ball go off his body. So he's let it see it go there. Yeah, there was a deflection. He goes for it. But it was a savable shot, and it hits the bottom part of his hand and goes under him after he had done so well in the first half to keep Villa in the game. Now, all of a sudden, a shot goes off him and in. Yes, there was a deflection, but it was an eminently savable shot, given his standards. Villa looking like they were going to get the winner, and now 2 goals down with 5 minutes left.
This game absolutely turned around, and there really seemed to be no sign of it coming either. Things going from bad to worse for Villa, and it could get worse yet. 2 against 2 here. Harley unable to hold on to the ball or find Andy Gray, who was forward with him. And of course, that is the danger now for Villa as they chase a 2-goal deficit. There's going to be a lot of gaps left at the back. Thomas Sorensen, safe pair of hands this time, but I think you're right, Seamus. Despite the deflection, Sorensen would probably feel he should have had that.
Yeah, he had 2 hands on the ball. No question, he got both hands on it, but they were over the top half of the ball rather than really comfortably grabbing the whole surface. But if that ball was flicked on by J. Lloyd Samuel and not an attacker, then it was definitely not offside. Right at Sorensen, who's had a very good...
And indeed, we have our first upset of the 3rd round in the FA Cup as Championship side Sheffield United dispatch Premiership Aston Villa by 3 goals to 1, and the hero in the end was Andy Liddell, the 31-year-old striker, who made Thomas Sorensen pay with a couple of late efforts. And in the end, it was his goals that separated the teams. Sheffield United running out winners by 3 goals to 1, and Villa will want to forget this in a hurry, Seamus.
I think so, yeah.